Welcome to this week's edition of Brugler's Draft Board here in the BetMGM Casino Studio. Dane, this week's top prospect matchup, so much talk between who is DBU. Is it Florida? Is it LSU? But do not sleep on the Ohio State Buckeyes. They have three corners who could all be top 40, most notably Jeffrey Okudah, the sixth overall prospect on your big board. What makes him so special?
Yeah, Okudah, I think he's the most well-known of the group. He was a top 5 player on my preseason draft board, and he stayed right around that range all season. Played really well. He's a terrific athlete. He has length. He has toughness. He'll come up and run support. They're just everything you're looking for in a corner. He kind of checks those boxes, both athletically and physically and mentally. I think we all expect Chase Young to be the first defensive player drafted in April, but it wouldn't be a surprise if it's his teammate, Okudah, who's the second defensive player off the board.
And then don't sleep on Shaun Wade or Damon Arnett. What do you think about them?
Yeah, and the biggest riser of the group, I think, has been Shaun Wade. And it's not a huge surprise because he's a former 5-star recruit. He was a big-time talent out of Florida. He was part of the rotation last year, but this year as a redshirt sophomore, he's playing with a lot more confidence. It's leading to production. He operates primarily out of the slot, which makes this weekend's game against Penn State very intriguing because he'll line up against KJ Hamler quite a bit. It takes a top-tier athlete to play press man for slot receivers with the speed of KJ Hamler, but that's exactly what Wade has to offer with his size and his speed. He can take away those pass windows down the field. He's putting himself in that first-round discussion. And then the third member of that Ohio State talented corner trio is Damon Arnett. He's the only senior of the group, and he's really improved his consistency over the years. Arnett, he's always been a fluid athlete. He's always had the speed. But when you watch last year's tape, it was a mess. He was a flag magnet because he would panic, make too much contact down the field. But to his credit, he's shown substantial improvement in that area. He's also one of the best tackling cornerbacks in this draft. So that's why he's in the second-round mix and has a good chance to go in the top 40 pick.
All right, let's move to an underrated prospect to watch. Let's keep things at the cornerback position. Let's go to the Big 12. TCU has a corner, Jeff Gladney. He has a tough test this weekend. Oklahoma has debatably one of the best receivers in the country. That's CeeDee Lamb, who already has 983 yards this season and is averaging over 22 yards a catch.
Yeah, maybe the front runner for the Biletnikoff Award this year, CeeDee Lamb, also has a good chance to be, if not the first receiver drafted, one of the first 3 receivers drafted. It'll be interesting because he'll, when you talk about Jeff Gladney, the TCU corner, he'll be competing with Damon Arnett to be one of the first senior corners drafted off the board. He's a little undersized. He's 5'10", 185 pounds, but he's an outstanding athlete, and he has the toughness, the stubbornness that you really are looking for to play the cornerback position at a high level. Does an excellent job playing through the hands and the arms of the receiver at the catch point. He can disrupt throws, and he also has the play personality that NFL teams are looking for. So if you get past the lack of size, I think teams are going to have a really quality cornerback, and hopefully CeeDee Lamb can play. He was inactive last week against Baylor, coming back from a concussion the previous week. So if we get to see that Lamb versus Gladney matchup, that's something NFL scouts are going to be focused on this weekend.
Let's keep things in the Big 12 for the upset here on Brugler's Draft Board. Now, Dane, last weekend, Baylor suffered a heartbreaking loss to Oklahoma, and you're calling for the Bears' head again.
Yeah, they came so close to finishing that victory over Oklahoma. They fell just short. But they don't have time to dwell on it because they got Texas coming to town. And even though the Longhorns, they're a 6-4 team this year, they have the talent to upset the Bears in Waco. It's a 5-point spread. One of the key prospects to watch in this one for the Longhorns is Devin Duvernay, who's second in all of college football with 87 catches this year. He's built more like a running back, short, thick frame, does his best work out of the slot. You see him on screens, on slants, those catch-and-go opportunities where he can break tackles and outpace defenders down the field. He also has the tracking skills where he can make plays over the top. So I think coming into the year, he was viewed as maybe a later-round prospect, but Duvernay, who, by the way, is also a cousin of Kyler Murray, so they have the athletic bloodlines going on there. He's put himself in the middle rounds, and he's trying to get into those top 100 picks.
All right, there you have it. Brugler's Draft Board here in the BetMGM Casino Studio. Dane, thanks a lot. We'll see you next week.
Thanks, Ethan.